I'd like to call the Tuesday, June 21st, 2022 Papillion City Council meeting to order. Ms. Brown, would you please take the roll?
Sunday. Here. Mumgard. Here. Gaines. Here. Glover. Here. Jaworski. Here. Klug. Here. Stube. Here. Engberg.
Yes. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And do we have an affidavit of publication on file?
We do.
And a current copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in the back of the council chambers. Got one presentation tonight, the Mayor's Youth Leadership Council. I'm getting into the habit of giving a quarterly report. Come on up. Welcome.
Dear council members, thank you for allowing us to present a current list of our activities, both past and present, for the Youth Leadership Council. We are happy to present to you our second quarterly report, which chronicles our activities from April 2022 to June 2022. April included youth council members working on the annual Easter egg hunt on the 9th. Members passed out eggs to the kids and helped the event run smoothly. Gemma Montiel and Emma Hendricks co-chaired this event. May, the council helped with the half marathon of the race series on May 15th. Members passed out water and Gatorade at 2 stations during the race that morning. We are very glad we could help and hope to continue to assist in the summer race series. The Youth Council has also had its first work day for the pollinator garden we maintain in Halleck Park. We laid down more mulch and planted more pollinating flowers. June included one of the council's car wash fundraisers on the 11th and 12th at Firestone in Shadow Lake. We are very grateful to Firestone for letting us wash cars outside their building and providing members with lunch. We also had a ring toss booth at Papillion Days, which members ran on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday during the event. Finally, we walked and passed out candy in the Papillion Days parade with the City Council. We are always glad to help represent our city. The Youth Council continues to do a monthly road cleanup behind the Shadow Lake Mall. In this quarter the also included in cleaning the creek behind the mall per request of the city. We continue to try to keep Papillion beautiful and free of harmful trash. In the future, the council is planning a donation campaign with the Humane Society Town and Country, and is also seeing if it is possible to host an event for Hispanic Heritage Month. We are also hoping to work with the city in helping plant trees and improving our arboretum here in Papillion. Members are also hoping to send a contingency of members to National League of Cities City Summit Conference in November 2022 in Kansas City. The council would also like to congratulate our events manager, Jenna Woodard, on her acceptance onto the Youth Advocacy Board for DARE. She will be representing Nebraska on an international level, and we are proud of her and her accomplishment. We, the members of Papillion Mayor's Youth Leadership Council, thank the City Council, Mayor Black, and Amber Powers for their continued support and guidance with our endeavors. We can't express how much it means to us and the youth of the city of Papillion. Respectfully, Ashley Gast, Katrina Baki, and Officer Philip Tackett. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions? At a state level, so thanks for everything you do. Mr. Green, Administrator's report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you to the Papillion Community Foundation and to all of the City of Papillion staff and volunteers for a wonderful, successful, and hot Papillion Days. Also, thank you to the Sarpy County Chamber and all the staff who helped coordinate and prepare for the ribbon-cutting open house for the remodeled City Hall that was held last Wednesday and earlier tonight. A reminder to the council members that staff will be scheduling budget meetings with you within the next couple of weeks. Another reminder that the city administrator report in your packet includes several upcoming ribbon cutting events. Finally, on a personal note, I will be traveling to McCook, Nebraska tomorrow for the summer conference for the Nebraska City County Management Association, which is the professional association of city and county managers here in Nebraska. I currently serve as president-elect of the association. Amber actually is vice president of the association. because she's vice president, we will be hosting the summer conference next year. And so we look forward to having the city managers and county managers from around the state here with us next June. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion. Motion by Councilman Glover, second by Councilman Gaines. C6 and Mr. Sunday, C4. Okay, so C4 and C6 are polled. Do we have any proponents or opponents? Any council discussion? Please vote on everything except C4 and C6.
Glover? Yes. Gaines? Yes. Stube? Yes. Sunday? Yes. Jaworski? Yes. Klug? Yes. Engberg? Yes. Mumgarden? Yes. 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Next is item C4, Resolution R220107, a resolution to approve a change order for Fire Station Number 3 remodel project. Is there a motion to approve Resolution R220107? Motion by Councilman Jaworski. Second by Councilwoman Klug. Do we have any proponents or opponents? Council discussion. Mr. Sunday.
I had asked Chief Bose to just speak to the changes so that the public can know what's going on before we vote.
Chief.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Bill Bose, Fire Chief. Thanks for this opportunity. When we, Deputy Chief Jones and I, went through the downtown Papillion Fire Station, we tend to be probably conservative to a fault, and we identified the important things to us that we knew needed to be done to the building to make it inhabitable for the next 10 to 15 years, maybe longer. And then we had an MFO committee meeting with the 2 mayors, 2 city administrators, and 2 members of the Rural Fire District Board come through, and they encouraged us that we probably needed to do a little bit more work in order to make the building complete. It wouldn't make any sense to do part good stuff and have the crummy stuff still there. So what we're going to do that we hadn't planned on doing was paint the apparatus bays. You all have been in there at various times, and it's been those colors for as long as I can remember. So get a fresh coat of paint. One of the interesting things, there was a big wooden sign that had been on the south end of the building inside for at least 25 years. When we took that sign down, there was a hole about this size where you could see right through the block where they had drilled to mount the sign. And then from there, traveling up almost to the ceiling, then almost down to the floor, was a crack that you could see daylight through. So we need a lot of mortar work in that place. We're going to put some siding on one corner of the building, the southwest corner, and the siding people recommended that we put a curb around that so that vehicles and on the south side, lawnmowers don't run into the siding and dent it up. A good protective measure that they identified. And then finally, the ceiling in the north bays is basically bat insulation. It's up between the rafters, and that's starting to peel down. And they recommended that we seal that so that that insulation doesn't fall any farther than it already is. So that accounts for the majority of the additional costs that we're looking at.
Any other questions, Mr. Sunday? Anybody else have any questions? Please vote.
Stube? Yes. Gaines? Yes. Jaworski? Yes. Sunday? Yes. Engberg? Yes. Mumgarden? Yes. Glover? Yes. Klug? Yes. 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Thanks, Chief. Item C6, Resolution R220109, a resolution to approve a memo of understanding between the City of Papillion, the Papillion La Vista Community Theater, the Papillion Area Concert Band, and the Papillion Area Community Singers to create the Papillion Arts Foundation. Is there a motion to approve Resolution R220109? Motion by Councilman Ingberg, second by Councilwoman Klug. Any proponents or opponents? Council discussion. Mr. Jaworski.
Yeah, when we had our meeting and we talked about this, I brought up if we're going to say arts, we need to include arts. And to me, arts is the pictures that are hanging on second floor down below us, and the pictures that are hanging at Papillion Landing, all our butterfly chairs. So for me, and I'm going to support this, but I do want to make sure that we're going to involve all these people. Because if we're calling it arts, that's what it needs to be, is arts. Because to me, a band is a musician. It's not arts in my mind.
Yeah, and I think it's accounted for. A reminder, there's what we're voting on is a memo of understanding for a short-term agreement. It's the 6-month where the organizations come together and work towards the creation of the foundation. And at that point in time, as far as actual organizations, it's the 4 that are mentioned in the resolution, because everything you mentioned is a function of the Mayor's Art Council, which is under the city. So as far as the signers of the memo of understanding, it's the 4 organizations, the city being one of them, who has the gallery and the benches and that type of thing. The long-term agreement was the exhibit in there, and that one does then specifically anticipate taking the Mayor's Art Council, putting it into the foundation, and then the foundation having responsibility both for performing and passive arts. And the passive arts even including, we had discussions about the potential of a creative district, which the legislature created in the last session, and that working towards that is contemplated in there as well. So what you're saying is accounted for in the long-term agreement that's in the exhibit.
So what I talked about when we met was maybe trying to get a hot shops up here. So that's still in the game too then?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I appreciate that.
You bet. Any Mr. Mumgard?
Yeah, well, I'm glad that this is brought out of the consent agenda, because this is this is an item that looks like just a simple little memorandum of understanding, and is easy to just buzz through and overlook. And I'm glad it's brought forward, because I think anybody who's listening and watching here, this is an item that can have immense impact in the future on the quality of life in Papillion. And that's what we sell here, is quality of life. You can live a lot of places in the metro area, but we say no, when you live in Papillion, it's different. This is the kind of stuff that we need to have. The pack band, the community theater, the singers, all those kinds of things, the art, the stuff that Councilman Jaworski just mentioned. These are the things that create quality of life. This is a small thing here in front of us, but it deals with funding. It deals with, it deals with the important part of how do you get that stuff, because it all costs money. This creates a method that these organizations have better access to funding. So to begin with, anybody who's out there who thinks that they will enjoy listening to the pack band, participating in the pack band, I'm always surprised at the size of that thing. The community theater, any of that, okay, you start by contributing, and this is the way that we're setting it up so that can be done. And I'll give the mayor a shout out. This was something you pulled out of the woodwork, and I think it could turn out to be a great addition to the city of Papillion. So thank you very much. This is a good thing.
And I think the big impetus behind it was a couple of things. One, the National Citizen Survey that we do every 3 years. We've now done that 3 years, so starting to get some results over time. And the community is saying arts and culture is critically important, but then the perception of our support for it is going down. So that was a little bit lingering out there. But then when the legislature passed the thing of the creative districts, it's like a zoning overlay district, and there's some opportunities for some large grant dollars if a city has one. But one of the things the legislature put in is the city itself cannot be the applicant. You got to partner with an organization. Another reason to have an arts foundation then is to be that partner in the creation of that. And then that whole program is the legislature put that under the Nebraska Arts Council. And so again, if you've got an arts organization managing the grants, does it make sense to partner with an arts foundation to potentially unlock grants? So appreciate that. Any other discussion? Please vote.
Engberg? Yes. Jaworski? Yes. Klug? Yes. Mumgard? Yes. Glover? Yes. Gaines? Yes. Sunday? Yes. Stube? Yes. 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Item E1, Ordinance 1968, an ordinance to rename Flint Street as dedicated by the Belterra Phase 3 final plat to be Beeman Street. It's a public hearing. I'll open it. Are there any proponents or opponents? Close the public hearing. E2, Ordinance 1969, an ordinance to amend Papillion Municipal Code, Chapter 150, to clarify existing sections and to create a new Article 2 governing the lease of city property and to provide for an effective date. I'll open the public hearing. Any proponents or opponents? Close the public hearing. F1, Resolution R220102, a resolution to amend the 2021-2022 salary ranges for management and exempt positions based on a wage comparability study and to adopt a corresponding update to the management exempt compensation program general order. Is there a motion to approve Resolution R220102? Motion by Councilman Gaines, second by Councilman Jaworski. Any proponents or opponents? Council discussion? Please vote.
Stube. Gaines. Yes. Sunday. Yes. Glover. Yes. Mumgarden. Yes. Klug. Yes. Jaworski. Yes. Engberg. Yes. 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. F2, Ordinance 1965, an ordinance to amend Section 170.32 of the Papillion Municipal Code having to do with waivers of Chapter 170, subdivision of land. The applicant's the City of Papillion. It's the Subdivision Regulations Ordinance Amendment. Is there a motion to approve Ordinance 1965? Motion by Councilman Jaworski. Second by Councilman Gaines. Any discussion? Please vote.
Sunday. Yes. Engberg. Yes. Mumgarden. Yes. Gaines. Yes. Glover. Yes. Stube. Yes. Jaworski. Yes. Klug. Yes. 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. F3, Ordinance 1966, an ordinance to approve a change of zone from R2 single-family residential medium density to R4 PUD2 multifamily residential specific planned unit development for the property legally described as the South 77 feet, Lot 2, Block 33, Beatles Edition, generally located at 526 North Jefferson Street. Applicant is St. Columbia Hill Church. It's the parish campus PUD expansion. Is there a motion to approve Ordinance 1966? Motion by Mr. Sunday. Second by Councilman Glover. Any discussion? Please vote.
Jaworski. Yes. Sunday. Yes. Engberg. Yes. Stube. Yes. Gaines. Yes. Glover. Yes. Mumgarden. Yes. Klug. Yes. 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Thanks. F4, Resolution R220104, a resolution to approve the agreement to plat and rezone property, release and waiver of liability, and indemnity agreement between Daniel Greco and Louise Greco and the City of Papillion. So motion to approve Resolution R220104? Motion by Councilman Jaworski. Second by Councilman Stube. Any proponents or opponents? Any council discussion? Please vote.
Mumgarden. Yes. Glover. Jaworski. Yes. Sunday. Yes. Stube. Yes. Gaines. Yes. Klug. Yes. Engberg. Yes. 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. F5, Resolution R220105, a resolution to approve the agreement to plat property, release and waiver of liability and indemnity agreement between Charles Dort and Julie Dort and the City of Papillion. Is there a motion to approve Resolution R220105? Motion by Councilman Klug. Second by Councilman Gaines. Discussion? Please vote.
Klug. Yes. Glover. Yes. Gaines. Yes. Engberg. Yes. Sunday. Yes. Jaworski. Yes. Mumgarden. Yes. Stube. Yes. 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. F6, Ordinance 1967, an ordinance to amend Papillion Municipal Code Section 158.14 to modify existing sewer connection fees. Is there a motion to approve Ordinance 1967? Motion by Councilman Jaworski. Second by Councilman Gaines. Mr. Stube, you gave notice you want to recuse yourself because of your day job?
Correct. As a Director of Public Works for the City of Omaha, I have responsibility for the wastewater system, and therefore requesting to, had it reviewed by City Legal, and they've indicated the same, so I'm going to recuse myself from this vote.
Thank you very much. Any council discussion? Please vote.
Engberg. Yes. Klug. Yes. Mumgarden. Yes. Gaines. Yes. Sunday. Yes. Glover. Yes. Jaworski.
Yes.
7 yeas, 0 nays, 1 abstention by Stube.
Motion passes. It's all the regular agenda items, committee reports, Finance Administration, I think, met. Mr. Ingberg, you're the chair, aren't you?
Thank you, Mayor. Prior to the meeting tonight, we had discussion about two items, one being the arterial street improvement fees. We came up with a consensus and gave direction to the staff to proceed with doing so, and I believe Mr. Sturzman is going to reach out to the development community and review some of our discussion with them. But eventually, the council will see the change in the fee structure, and I might note that this concerns building permit fees, nothing else. The second item, we discussed park fees. That again is tied to building permits, not taxes, but building permits. We have not adjusted that since 1983. And so there is a proposal made to make some adjustments, and we also had a consensus to move that forward for full council action. And that was it.
Thank you very much. Any comments from the floor? Yes, ma'am. And if you'd state your name and address for the record.
Hello, everyone. My name is Loan Eby, and I reside at 1401 Edgewater Circle in Papillion. And I just wanted to share with you and give you a booklet. So Papillion La Vista Community Schools did an enrollment analysis, or actually they contracted with RSP and Associates to do an enrollment analysis of our district. And the online version is on the Papillion La Vista Community Schools website. But I personally like the printed out version, so I have a copy for each board member, and I enhanced it with a table of contents. And so I wanted to provide that for each board member, and I didn't know, Mayor Black, how you wanted me to distribute it to the members. I can give it to you to give?
Yeah. And we're at the end of the agenda, so if you want to leave them there, they can just pick them up on their way out,
so
too.
So it has your name on it and your ward number, so you just pick up your respective copies. And
Thank you.
That's all I had.
Thank you very much. Any other comments from the floor? Council comments? Seeing none, Mr. Green and I and Ms. Powers, we have been meeting with department heads. Remember, in the last current budget, we budgeted for an employee survey, just like we do the citizen survey about every 3 years. So we've been getting those results back, so we've been meeting with department heads and putting action items together on that. Had some meetings regarding the Arts Foundation. And then the Bellevue Chamber has a Bellevue Leadership Program, and they've got a day in government, and they actually wanted to get outside of Bellevue a little bit. So Mr. Sturzman and I spent the morning with them and had a lot of good discussions, and then they went down to Plattsmouth and met with Mayor Lambert down in Plattsmouth. So we appreciate them reaching out and building relationships. Thanks for everybody that participated in the ribbon cutting and the open houses for City Hall. The first one had quite a few people come through, and then there were some people that couldn't, and I've actually had some other groups reach out and want tour of City Hall to know what's been going on, so we've given several different group tours as well, so appreciate that. And can't thank everybody enough for Papillion Days. I think our relationship with the Community Foundation is probably stronger than it's ever been, and Joe being a brand new director, his first year, I think he did a really good job. We got some new department heads who probably hadn't been through it before, Mike and some others, and police had some change, so there was just a lot going on with some new faces and some old faces not participating, and I think with all of that it went off pretty well. And I know police implemented a number of, they keep adding every year from a public safety perspective because of what goes on nationally at large events and that type of thing. And they did some more innovative things this year as well that I think raised comfort levels as well. So just appreciate everybody's support for that. Any other council comments? We've got a closed session tonight for land negotiations. Oh yes, Mr. Jaworski. Oh yeah, sent out a press release. We budgeted for that, I think, 2 years ago. Initially, we could not do anything because that road was part of State Highway 85, and Department of Transportation wouldn't let us do that. And then once we got that under city control, we budgeted for it, but then the supply chain issues with all the electronics delayed it another year. So it's being installed now is actually from about 3 years ago. We had a traffic study done, and it went to the committee about some enhancements we could make downtown, and that was one of the recommendations for that. So that work will be wrapping up. Any other discussion? We have a closed session for land negotiation. So is there a motion to go into closed session to protect the public interest to discuss land negotiations? Motion by Councilman Glover, second by Councilman Gaines. Do we have any opponents or proponents? Council discussion. Please vote.
Jaworski. Yes. Klug. Yes. Mumgarde. Yes. Sunday. Yes. Engberg. Yes. Stube. Yes. Gaines. Yes. Glover. Yes. 8 yeas, 0 nays.
I'll restate for the record, the purpose of the closed session is only to discuss land negotiations. It'll include the mayor, city council, deputy city administrator, community development, city attorney, and city clerk. And we'll meet in the second floor conference room. Oh, I guess staff is leaving. We'll meet up here. I'll restate the only topic discussed in closed session was land negotiations. Is there a motion to come out of closed session? Motion by Stube, second by Gaines. Please vote.
Gaines. Yes. Jaworski. Yes. Stube. Yes. Glover. Yep. Sunday. Yes. Engberg. Yes. Mumgarde. Yes. Klug. Yes. 8 yeas, 0 nays.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Oh, you need a motion to adjourn, Mayor.
Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion by everybody. Give it to Jaworski, second by Klug. Yes, sir. Oh, I'm sorry. Come on up.
My name's Nathan with Attitude on Food, applying for an STL license.
Oh, you were approved. Sorry about that. We put it on a consent agenda right at the beginning, and it all happened, and you didn't even know it.
Nathan Newhouse with Attitude on Food. Oh,
Exactly. Yeah.
Where are you going? You might want to go. Chrysalis, Vincent. The Crystal Center, the Lane. Oh. Yeah, have a good time. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, right. Yeah, let's take a license. Thank you. We can't take it before we see everything else.
Thank you. Please vote on motion to adjourn.
Glover. Sunday. Gaines. Mumgarde. Klug. Jaworski. Engberg. Stube. 8 yeas, 0 nays.
We are adjourned.